So Julian, if you had to describe your work to a 5-year-old, how would you describe it?
Ooh, we're starting with the tough one, Avi. If I had to describe my work to a 5-year-old, it's a great question. The way I would explain it is, I get to be with people, and we create things that may not seem possible at the beginning, but through the power of language, of be if we see now if I I need to be careful with the words to make sure it's grade 5 level understanding. All I would say to the child is, we make the impossible possible. That's what we do. Easy.
So this kind of seems like a superpower in many ways. And before this podcast, I asked you an interesting question, which was if you could have a superpower, which one would it be? And you said that your language is a superpower.
Yes,
So can
sir.
you tell me more about it? How or why is it shaping your reality so much?
Well, Abi, can I say something before I answer the question?
Of course.
I wanted to thank you, man. I want to thank you for this opportunity. I want to thank you for creating this, man. Like, can I share just a mini quick story,
Of course, man.
and then remember your question, okay?
Hmm.
I know you have it written down somewhere because you are so well prepared. I love this about you. I When you and I met for the first time 2 weeks ago, 20 days ago,
Yes.
um, we connected. You shared with me your program. You shared with me the incredible things you're doing for people with your phone addiction. You're helping people conquer phone addiction through. You spent how long studying phone addiction and how to lower the dopamine baseline?
Yes. So I studied it 5 years. So I had the addiction for 10 years. So since I got my first smartphone, which I haven't got here, but it was a Samsung Galaxy S4 Mini,
Okay.
and I got it in the hospital right after my car accident. So my aunt came in and handed me this beautiful phone, and ever since I didn't really know what to do with it. So I got trapped into this whole dopamine, this whole video games, this whole just consuming. And after 5 years, so when I was like 15 or 16, I really started digging deeper into like the psychology behind it. I started with self-improvement, and yes, this may sound like okay, every 15 or 16-year-old did that, but at my time, I was overweight. I had like not the best grades in school. I didn't have any social skills.
Yeah.
So this phone became like a thing where I could like escape and spend a lot of my time with. So I was like in seven or between 8 or 10th grade was the point where I like started this self-improvement journey. And ever since I discovered so many methods, so many practical stuff around phone addiction. And this last 5 years were just like trial and error. I tried
Yeah.
every single method out there, and then I combined it all together into one thing that I now committed for since April, and
Yeah.
it really changed my life.
Yeah,
And
man.
seeing myself from from 3 months ago, where I got like my hair transplant, to now is like they are two different people,
Yeah.
and you played such a big role, especially in the last 2 weeks. The way your language came to me, the way it impacted my life was just incredible. So I really have to thank you also, Julian, for this
Thank you,
amazing
Avi.
thing.
Thank you for the acknowledgement, man. It's well received, and I mean, you said it to me. Language is my superpower, man, and it's
Yes,
my
of course.
superpower, and I use it to create my reality and that of those who I have the privilege of crossing paths with. And I had the privilege of crossing paths with you 2 weeks ago. And when you
Hmm.
shared with me that beautiful story that you just shared about your car accident and your phone addiction and everything you've been
Hmm.
through and everything you've done in the 5 years, well, we created a miracle together. And then at the very end, after 1 hour of speaking, you tell me, well, Julian, I said we were about to hang up, and you were like, Julian, I have a few questions for you. And you showed me how you had prepared a lot of questions for our call, right? Remember, how long did you spend time preparing?
For this call now, I
No,
spent
for the first one, the one of
for the
2 weeks
first
ago.
one. Uh, it's hard to describe because I followed your content like
Mm,
for over 6 months,
okay.
but really prepared for the call was like the last 3 days. So I
Okay,
always
nice.
took like a few
That's a lot.
hours
That's a
and
lot.
walked through your content, walked through your work.
Okay.
And right now I like tripled the number, so I work like a few hours each day
Yeah.
before the London trip and now after the London trip to
Incredible.
build a thing to create the best
Incredible.
conversation possible for you, for me, and for the listeners.
Thank you, Robbie. I admire your dedication. I admire your commitment, man. And just to finish off the story, I loved it because at the end, I was gonna hang up and we were gonna say bye after 1 hour, and you said, "I have so many questions for you. I didn't even get to ask them. I prepared so much." And I said,
Hmm.
"Robbie, do you think those questions, if I answer them, they'd be helpful for you?" And what did you say?
Of course. I said
Yeah, and yeah.
yes.
And then I said, "Abi, do you think other people would benefit from me answering those questions?" And what did you say?
I also said yes.
Yeah. So we said, hey, you kept talking about Stephen Bartlett. You kept talking about the Diary of the CEO. So we said, I think it's time for you to access the inner Stephen Bartlett and for Avi Dogan to come out and become his own Stephen Bartlett. And here we are creating possibilities. Now you have your own podcast. Two
Oh,
weeks later.
so back to the superpower. So why and how is it shaping your reality so much?
Why and how? Say the last part.
Yes. Or not like your reality in specific, but generally our reality. How
Mm.
do you see language as the gateway to our reality, and how does it impact our lives in so many ways?
I think it was Bruce Lee who said it's called spelling because
Hmm.
we cast spells with our words. And I remember hearing that. Somebody told me that. I don't remember who. But that was one thing that really stood out to me. But I really think that the biggest thing I found was when we create everything that comes out of our mouths has the power to then, like, our brains cannot differentiate between imagination and reality. Like, that's just neuroscience. Like, it just can't. And your words, when everything starts as an idea and as a thought, so everything you say has the power to then become a real reality by spoken word. And the best way I can see it is, at least in my life, and this is my experience, so it's not really an opinion, it's really just my experience of how I've seen the world, of what I've experienced, of what I've been able to create. A lot of it has started with my language, with
Hmm.
the way that I declared myself, because it became a place that I could come from every day. So a lot of, like I told you, me saying language is my superpower, I was saying that before it even became my superpower. So every time I would speak in ways that wasn't aligned with language is my superpower, well, it would become something that I could clean up and come from again. So
Hmm.
that's one example. But when I say I want to create a reality and I want to, people say they, like, the typical question that listeners could be having as I say this is, oh, Julian, so if I just say I want to make a lot of money, then that just means I make a lot of money. Well, yes, technically the short answer is yes. It doesn't happen like this, but it becomes through you creating that every day and declaring it every day and then coming from that place every day. So there's situations in your day where you have the opportunity to create more money, and when you remember that you made that declaration, you will always come from that place and you will be able to act in accordance from that. This is why I always talk about being, because this is what being is. In the moment when it comes to me, for example, making a proposal to a prospective client, in that moment I may hold back. When I'm about to hold back because I'm afraid of asking, because I'm afraid that they're going to say no, I'm afraid they're going to think I'm weird, I'm afraid that they're going to think I'm being salesy, in that moment I have two choices. I go with the fear and then I don't ask and then I make $0, or I remember language is my superpower, or the declaration of I make money easily. Boom, I go back and I say it and I make the proposal, and now, yes, maybe they'll still say no, but guess what, I'm a little bit closer to that yes. So it's always the new place to come from. Am I making sense?
Yes, of course. So before this call, I like looked a little bit at what you do, your work, and this last thing you said with the language and how it like shapes our reality reminds me a lot of RAS, and you talked about it in
Mm.
one of your last videos. And could you like explain it to your listeners once
Mm.
again in short, and how important it became in your work? Because I noticed a lot of similarities to what you said right now to the RAS.
That's a great question. That's a great question, Avi. The RAS, it stands for the reticular activating system, and it's
Okay.
a part of your brain. It's your brain's filter. The typical example people can think about is when you see a car that you want, you will think about the car. The typical example is the red car. People see a red car, and then, or somebody tells you about this specific red car, and then everywhere you go, you see that red car everywhere. Suddenly, the red car happens to be there. And it's not suddenly, it wasn't that the red car wasn't there before. The red car was always there. It just happens to be that now your brain is filtering to always see the red car. In other words, what you input to your brain, meaning through your words, your thoughts, the things you choose to focus on, your brain will see more of those. It's kind of called the confirmation bias. It can be called the self-fulfilling prophecy, whatever people who study psychology want to call it. The point is, your brain has the power to give you the reality that you feed it. That's why they say be careful with what you consume. Be careful what you input in your brain because you will see more of that. And that goes to language. That goes to the thoughts you create, right? At the end, what is your thoughts and language are upstream of action. So
Mhm.
if we have an outcome, such as making more money, building a business, above that, we have action. We need to take action to create that outcome. And above action, we have thoughts and language. Thoughts and language are what create the actions you take. Every action you do, every action you take, it was a thought in your mind before you took it. Yes or no?
Yes.
So imagine if you can be more intentional with the thoughts and the language, if you could be creating them and feeding your RAS with those, then you're going to be able to see more of what you want anyway. Does that answer your
So,
question?
yes. So could we like reverse engineer it by saying like, okay, I have a long-term vision. So how can or should we like visualize this thing or create our language around this vision to already be that person? You know what I mean? So can
Mm-hmm.
we like be faster at our vision or faster to our destination by already creating a sense in our mind that we are already there through this RAS? Or how would you like combine the RAS with vision?
Okay. Are you open to doing it together? To playing a little bit?
What do you
Are you
mean with,
open? Are you open to
of
doing a
course,
little exercise?
of
Okay.
course, of
So
course.
you give me an example of an outcome that you would like to create in your life.
I would like to create, I would like to help as many people as possible to beat their phone addiction.
Okay, great. So that's the outcome. Now let's
Hmm.
reverse engineer. I told you, what is the biggest predictor of an outcome? Of any outcome? What does one need to do?
They first have to put it in their minds.
But there's one thing before that. You're right. You're right. That's part of it. But I just told you before you take an outcome. What does the human being need to do to make sure an outcome takes place?
They have to like visualize in their mind, or am I
Yeah, and,
like
and, and after
once
visual and after visualizing, what do they
they have
do?
to take action,
There you go. There you got it. You got it. You got it. Say it again. What's the biggest predictor of an outcome?
taking action.
Done. So that's the action. Now, tell me what actions does Abi need to take in order to create the outcome, the desired outcome of helping as many people as he can to beat phone addiction? Just give me some ideas. Give me some actions.
The thing is, I did exactly that 2 days ago at an event from Christina in London. And the first step I have to do in this journey is spread the message. So
Beautiful.
making as much people as possible aware of the phone addiction and to show them that there is a solution somewhere in the horizon and I could or should help them or
Beautiful.
put put them at the hand and like show them that there is a solution and guide them towards it.
Okay.
So having like the thing you said right now and literally me having 2 days ago the same thought is like so many
Beautiful.
things happening at once.
Beautiful. So one action you're saying to take is to spread awareness through conversation, through content, right? So that's the
Yes.
main action you need to do is spread the message. Can you think of one more action you can take? One more example.
Making people aware of it,
Okay, so spreading the message. Okay,
spreading the
that's the
message.
main
Okay.
action. Okay, so that's the main action. Now let's continue reverse engineering. Okay, so far are we on the same page? Outcome is we want to help as many people as possible beat phone addiction. The main action we're going to take to do that is spread the message, create conversations, help people, right? Serve people every day like you've been doing already. You know, that's the main action we got to take. Now let's reverse engineer. Upstream of action, we have thoughts and language. That's what you were saying before, visualization, the words we speak, the thoughts we create. That's before that. Any action to take any action, we need to have thoughts and language. So, Abi, the question now is, what thoughts? So just give me some example of thoughts or language that you need to say in order to take the action of spreading awareness. What's one example of a thought you can have?
Self-limitation is definitely a thing. So I could say myself like, okay, I have the solution, or I can help people,
Beautiful.
and this is like the first step towards I can help them.
Beautiful.
So,
Okay. That's thank you. That's a great one. Can you give me? Don't give me any self-limiting ones. Give me only thoughts and language. Thoughts and language, the same thing. That will lead to you taking action, or that will lead to you taking the action of spreading that awareness. You gave me two right there. Can you give me one more?
I can package knowledge around phone addiction perfectly.
Beautiful. Okay, beautiful. Thank you, Abi. So I can package knowledge around phone addiction perfectly. I have a solution that can help people. And what was the first one you said?
It was around limiting beliefs, so that I don't have limiting beliefs.
Beautiful. Thank you. Those are three beautiful ones. Now, last step. So thank you for this. So far we're on the same page. Am I making sense?
Yes.
Now, this is the best part. This is where it gets beautiful. So there's one more layer that starts everything, because we've been going backwards, right? We've been reverse engineering. We had outcome, we had action, we had thoughts and language, and then there's one more thing, Abi, a word that I love, that I say all the time, that is upstream of thoughts and language. That will be the biggest thing that needs to happen before the thoughts and language. Can you guess what that word is?
Is it already being?
It's being. Just being. You said it. Yeah. Say it again with more confidence, my friend. Say it again.
Being.
Yeah, beautiful. So that's who we are being as we have those thoughts and those language is what creates that outcome. So now the question for you is the thought you had of what was the thought? I don't have limiting beliefs. I have a solution that can help people. Those three thoughts you had, who do you need to be to create those thoughts all the time? Or as much as you can. Who do you need to be? Can you give me some declarations of yourself? Who do you need to be?
I have to be a lot less fearful. I have to be a fearless person. I have to be a person or a leader in many ways, who can speak to people, who can reach people. I need to spread a certain energy to make people listen to me. So all of these things are kind of like already like in my head. So they are slowly like building connections.
Beautiful. So do you
Such
see
a
how
powerful
now?
thing.
Do you see how now that is where you come from? So I'm now please just to be clear, I'm not saying that you're always going to be fearless. I'm not saying that you're always going to be everything that you just shared. All I'm saying is that if you create that for yourself every day with your thoughts and your language and with who you're being, right? The place you come from, meaning when you go and you take the action of spreading awareness, this is the place that comes from. Are you spreading awareness because you want to make money and because you have an agenda? Or are you spreading awareness because you genuinely want to help people break phone addiction? The energy that will come from them are very different, right? The Abi that the person will receive and that the person will feel is very different when he's coming from this place than when he's coming from this one. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So that's why we start with being. Because it doesn't matter. We can say thoughts and language all day long, but if we're not being the people who we want to be while creating those thoughts and language, then those thoughts and language are useless.
Hmm.
Am I making sense?
Yes, yes.
Beautiful.
So this practice
Thank you
we
for
did
doing
right
that.
now. So I have to thank you for this amazing practice we did right now. But let's go into like the listener. How can a listener, or what can a listener do to simulate this practice we did right now?
Mm.
And in that case, I want to ask you, I also saw a lot of journaling in your work, and that you focus a lot on journaling, uh, especially in the morning. And we will go to the morning routine of you later on. But how can the listener, or give me like three prompts, three journaling prompts the listener can use right now to create a sense of being?
Mm. Well, it's funny that you ask because I don't usually use prompts to journal, believe it
Mm-hmm.
or not.
Okay.
Um, I kind of free flow, and I do sometimes. I mean, the main prompt, if you really want the prompt that I unconsciously tell myself, is who do I want to be today?
Mm-hmm.
Or who would I need to be in order to, and then fill in the blank. So if you're saying for the listener who's listening, fill in the blank with whatever it is you want to create. Abhi gave you a perfect example of what he wants to create. Now you think, what do you want to create? Do you want to create more? Do you want to become a more loving person? Do you want to be more patient? Do you want to be a better coach, a better partner, a better son, a better daughter, a better father, a better mother? Do you want to make more money? Do you want to build a more sustainable and effective business? Whatever it is you want to do more of, ask yourself, who do you need to be in order to create that? And see what comes up when you ask that question. Because I think we live in a society, Avi, where when things go wrong, when shit hits the fan, people usually panic and they go, what do we do? Yeah, that's the question. What should we do? And it's funny because it's not about doing, right? It's not about adding things. It's about removing what's in the way and just being, right? And it's funny because when we I spent a lot of my time in Spain, and there was a power outage when we were there. It was on the news, so I'm sure a lot of people know about this.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember that it was a panic. It was a big panic when this happened. Like, people didn't know what was going on. And anyway, long story short is that the initial thing was everybody was really like, even us, the instinctual response of a human being was, like, what do we do? What do we do? And after we saw that it wasn't clearing up, the power wasn't coming back, we went to the park. We just sat in the park in the sun, reading a few books, talking. No Wi-Fi, no electricity, nothing. But one thing was interesting because we were a little bit afraid because you didn't know what was happening. There was no communication, as we're used to. But you want to know what helped me, Yabi? It was looking at the trees, looking at the birds, and looking at nature. They were still chirping. They were still singing. In other words, they were just being. They weren't doing anything. They were just being. They were just flowing with the nature. So that's how I knew everything was okay, because if the birds were not migrating, if the birds were not flying away, chirping away and screaming or panicking, then if they were okay, we were probably okay too. And yeah, at the end it turns out everything was fine. So just to tell you is stop doing, and if you want the prompt for your journal, just tap into and ask yourself, who do you need to be?
Very powerful, very powerful. So a lot of your work also revolves around writing. So now we are like finishing up this being, journaling, and writing thing. So in terms of writing, how is your writing like coming together? How do you get the ideas to write? This is like the step between like being, language, and then combining them two into powerful writing. So I would really love to know how the process around behind your writing is, and how do you shape these amazing posts, these amazing, like in your newsletter, you sometimes also use recordings. So how does it all come together?
Thank you, Abby. Thank you for doing your research, man. I acknowledge you so much for how prepared you were. I remember, the listener doesn't know this, but 2 weeks ago when you had your questions and you were prepared to ask me a few questions, You told me you needed a few weeks to prepare even more, and oh man, did you prepare? So I acknowledge you, my man. I take my hat off to you. So thank you for being so prepared. Um, with that in mind, what you were sharing, how do I get ideas? Are you there, Avi, or did I lose you? Oh, there you are. I thought
I'm
I
still
lost
here.
you. Yeah, yeah. It's all good.
So the
Um,
idea creation. So you talked about this nature stuff, this nature experience you had.
yeah.
So this seemed to be like one of the
Yeah, that's one
triggers
example.
or one of the sources. So
I
which other
would,
sources
yeah,
do you have?
yeah. Well, I would say it goes back to being, right? Like, I, one of my declarations, one of like the way I create myself to be is always of service, always of love, always finding the beauty and the gold in everything that happens in my life, whether it's good or bad or everything else in between. And that means that everything that happens in my life serves me in some shape or form, either through a lesson, either through an opportunity, either through a possibility. It don't matter. There's always something that serves me, and that ends up becoming a message that I can share with others in some shape or form. So a lot of my content, especially more recently, now that my content is very much just what I've been experiencing in my life. Like if you go, especially on Facebook, I've been posting a lot on Facebook because that's a lot of where my peers are. A lot of my coaching peers are on Facebook, so I love being part of that community with them for the coaching profession. So I've been posting a lot there. And like today, for example, I made a post of these two servers that I met at a hotel that I was staying at last week. And the way these servers taught me the true power of service. I think when you tell people being of service, whether they're ghostwriters, they're coaches, they're consultants, they have any service-led business, and you tell them be of service, people instantly think of customer service. Then I see these two people, I'll be at this hotel, and the way they were serving us, me and my family, oh man, we think excellent customer service is here. They were here. You can't even see it on the screen because they were that good. They were that good, man. And like, you don't even want to know like the things they did for us. And I wrote it on the post. So I found them on Facebook and I acknowledged them. That was just a post of acknowledging them. And
Mhm.
and people really seem to have gravitated with that post because who doesn't love to see three beautiful people smiling and being together. So I took a picture with them and we posted it, and that was one idea. So at the end, everything that happens in my day is an opportunity for content. Like I'm gonna make a post about you, about what you've done and what you've created in 2 weeks. You're a source of inspiration to me. Everything around me serves me. Everything around me is gold, and it always benefits me in some shape or form.
It's a very powerful mindset. I also read like a post from you like 2 or 3 days ago where you talked about this girl at this coffee shop next to you who
Mm.
struggled with a laptop. So it's very interesting that you get a lot of ideas from just living, just being in the present moment. So that's very amazing, and
Thank you.
I think a lot of listeners can kind of not replicate it, but take inspiration from that to use their day-to-day life as a big source of inspiration because a
Mm.
lot of us have such interesting lives, but all of the social media, all of this distraction kind of make this whole life that we have in some ways meaningless in our head. And that's a big problem I see right now, especially on social media, that we created like an ideal reality that is so detached from us. And your work is therefore so important because it takes the core of ourselves and like amplifies it through the whole being, through the whole language. So very amazing
Thank
work,
you.
very amazing work.
Thank you, Abby. Thank you for the kind acknowledgement, man. It's very well received. Thank you.
So talking a little bit about distraction, like some listeners already know that I'm working a lot on phone addiction recently, but I want to get to your morning routine. So in all of your vlogs, I kind of recognize that you don't use your phone in the morning. How does it come that you don't even check like Facebook or like messaging apps? You only use it to like do your to-do list, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I
Very
mean,
powerful.
thank you, firstly, again, for being so on point with your research. Um, that's something I definitely have worked very hard at because I used to, like a lot of people, I would say, the first thing I do in bed is check my phone. Used to. I don't remember, I can't tell you when is the last time I've done that because I can't remember the last time that I slept with my phone next to me. I now put my phone on the desk in the same room, but I put it in the desk, or I always put it like, I put it far away enough that if I would want to reach it, I would have to stand up to get it. So why do I do that? Because really it's simple. I've said this before and I'm going to say it again. I don't want to send a signal to my brain that my phone and the message is the priority. The signal that I want to send to my brain is that I am the priority, and therefore the first thing I do when I wake up is something for me. And it's funny, Abi, because it's interesting more than funny. I saw a video of Jay Shetty, who on a podcast or somewhere he spoke, and he said, I think he was at a seminar and he was speaking in front of people, and he asked the audience, he was like, would anybody here, please put your hand, if anybody here would let 100 people to come into their room the minute they open their eyes when they wake up? Guess how many people raised their hand, Abi?
No one.
Yeah, nobody would want or accept 100 strangers or strangers, friends, family, doesn't matter who, 100 people to come into your room as soon as you open your eyes. Nobody. So why do we do that with our phones? It's like your brain, I told you, your brain is receiving the same message. Your brain is receiving 100 notifications at once as soon as you open your mind. Your mind is not ready for that first thing in the morning. It's just not. So I've taken that principle, and for me, it's really been, I added onto it. Like, I don't check my messages like a good, my real, like, I don't have a rule, but my real principle for me is at least a good hour to 2 into my day. Sometimes I go longer. Sometimes I go 3-4 hours without checking a single message, right? So, and I also I'm very, my family doesn't love it because my dad will tell me, like, what if there's an emergency and we need to reach you? And it's happened where they've needed something from me and they found a way to reach me in some shape or form. They found a way, maybe they've sent me an email and I happen to be on my computer a few hours later and I see it, so there's other ways, but it's more because I know that my phone, it has all the other notifications all at once, and so I'd rather my brain know that I'm doing things for me, like reading, like journaling, like meditating. All these activities are for me.
Amazing. So we already talked a little bit about journaling, and you also now mentioned reading.
Yeah.
And funnily, 2 days ago at the airport from London to Cologne, I was waiting for my airplane to come, and it has 2-hour delay. So I was sitting there in this big lobby. The people who know London Stansted know that it's filled with people. And after 45 minutes of just sitting and being on my phone, I kind of looked around and I saw a billboard with Stephen Bartlett, the inspiration behind this podcast, showing 5 of his book recommendations. And this was the moment I kind of felt like, okay, I have to read more. So let's start it off with one book. What is one book you would recommend every listener here read at least once in their life?
This book is not about coaching. This book is nothing to do with coach. It's called The Ultimate Coach because that's what they said this man was. This man, they said he was the ultimate coach. But as it says here on the back, this book is a special book because it's a book about you. Abi, this book, it was written about you, man. Yeah. I'm not making this up. It was written about you. And if you read this book, Abi, what you need to do is you need to read the back page and then you need to read the front 2 pages every time before you read the book. So if I read chapter 3 and I put it down and then 20 minutes later, 30 minutes later, I come back, I read the back page and then I read the front 2 pages again. Why? Because it's reminding me that this book is about me. And this is the book of being. The book of being, man. The true book of being. This is the book that shifted my being in the most beautiful way when I read it last year for the first time. And now I'm reading it again for the second time this year, and it's shifting my being and expanding my being even more already, man. I've bought this book for a lot of people already, and I only buy it for them, and I will only gift it to them once they've promised me that they will read it. So I had a guy who I bought it to last week, and I told him, I said, it's with you now. Shipped it to your house. I know you said you have a bunch of other books to read. Put all those, like, stop reading those. Put this one first. You really want to create what you want to create? Read this book. It's about you, but read it about you. If you read it about the guy whose name is on the book, you will miss all the gold. You will not get it. So people have been reading it about them, and there have crazy miracles that have been happening in their lives. And it's not a coincidence, Abi. It's not a coincidence that all these people have been reading the same book, and they've all been able to create miracles. So when somebody reads it and they say, oh, I've not been able to create anything, well, I would say try again and read it about you, because you probably didn't read it about you.
Very
So
powerful.
that's the Ultimate Coach by Amy Hardison and Alan D. Thompson.
Interesting.
The most
So,
powerful book I've ever read, and I'd recommend 1,000 times over.
so is it like said in the book that you first have to read like the back and then the first 2 pages?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
very
and
powerful.
it's the only way to read it. And there's no, it literally says at the back, dear potential reader, as you may have noticed, there are no testimonials on the back of this book imploring you to read it. I vetoed that. The only testimonial I am interested in is the one you will have from reading and experiencing this book. Please do not read this book about me. Read this book about you. Read it about being. And as you read it, ask yourself, who would I need to be a more loving person? Who would I need to be a more effective parent? Who would I need to be to create a level of confidence that is remarkable? Who would I need to be at peace with who I am? Who would I need to be fully in love with myself and my life? Who would I need to be to live the most extraordinary life that I can live? You wanted some journal prompts? You have them right there. I promise you that if you read this book with the intention of expanding your state of being, you will do exactly that. Your experience will be remarkable. Who you are being is everything.
Very powerful. It's now definitely on my reading list. So thank you.
I would put it to the top, Abi. I will put
On
it
the
to the
top,
top, man. I will buy it for you. I will buy it for you and send it to your house today, tomorrow, if you promise to start reading it as soon as it gets there.
man, this would be amazing. And the thing is, as a student who does like all of this stuff while studying, while working, time became like such an important thing. What used to be like a thing I used to throw away is like now the most important thing I have in my life. All of the time on creating content, all of the time making ideas, all of the time creating, like this podcast here right now. So the hard thing about the thing you said right now is I would give you my word, but right now things are like so chaotic that I don't really know if I can do it. And
That's
it's
okay.
not like
I respect
I
you. I
don't want
respect you.
to, I really want to, but I have like 3 exams in the next 3 weeks, and after that it would be a huge pleasure to read this book, and I will
Yeah.
like mark it to hopefully read it when I have time again, when things get a little bit more like calm and when I can finally breathe. But yeah, thank you for this amazing recommendation.
Yeah.
And
And can I say something?
yes,
I would encourage you to really see if that's really like, I'm not saying that's not true, but I'm saying we all can find time to do things we want to do, right? You're finding time to make your program because you want to do it. You're finding time to do things related to content because you want to. So think about it, and again, this is not a requirement, so it's an invitation, so you can decline it, and right now you're declining it, and that's fine. It'll still be here whenever you change your mind, because I know you will. So sit with it, but the only thing I would encourage you, Abby, is to really ask yourself, even just reading 1 page a day, or reading only on a Sunday. There's no deadline. You don't need to finish this in a month. You can take 6 months if you want to. But I'm telling you, man, have I steered you wrong before? So why would I steer you wrong now? telling you, there's a reason I say, like, if you want to create more of what you want to create, you want to create more time, you want to prioritize more. And again, I respect you. Prioritize your exams right now, finish them, and maybe once you finish your exams, you have more time to read. Or maybe this is exactly why you need to read it, to create more time, and so you can breathe a little bit more before saying when I can breathe. You can create when you want to breathe. Think about it, okay? Can you promise me at least you'll sit with it?
Of course, I will sit to it.
Beautiful. And then we can continue the conversation offline.
Yes. So, from what you said right now, it's a lot about understanding ourselves and understanding what sometimes our limitations are, but what, for most of the part, this whole life is an understanding where we are at the world right now. So I share it with you, okay, I have like these exams, etc. And you kindly said, okay, I see it. And after you have like time again, can come back to me. And this is like a way to be more spontaneous in life. And this is something I notice, especially in our conversations, how you, throughout this conversation, kind of took the lead, and this practice we did before was actually on my list. I have like a list on my other monitor, and this practice we did before was already planned. So this whole being stuff seems to be like a whole breathing organism in some way, if you know what I mean.
Yeah,
It's
beautifully
like
said.
it has feedback, it has so much life in it, but with every organism out there, there's like sometimes a flawed or sometimes bad thought come in. And this is where I saw you saying something very beautiful, which was that as soon as you get one of these bad thoughts, you take a walk. And this really hits me because whenever I have like a bad thought, I try to sit with it and try to deal with it one-on-one, just like being in this chair, looking at my screen. But this walking thing was like so fascinating. And can you tell me a little bit more about it?
Yeah, of course. I love it, Avi. That's a great one. I heard this from Rick Rubin, actually. So a lot of what I share with you are just things I've learned along the way from different kinds of idols and mentors and people that I love and look up to. And Rick Rubin was someone I still look up to, but I had a big Rick Rubin phase, you can call it, a good 2 years ago. And actually, this is before I even knew about the work of being, and his book is called The Creative Act, A Way of Being. So he knows about this. He knows about the living, breathing organism that being is, like you just said. I love the way you created that with your words, man. It's a powerful creation right there. You know why it's such a powerful creation? Can I tell you why? Yeah?
Tell me this.
Because it's always living. It's not one and done. It's not just once. It's always living. We're always continually creating every single day. So to go back to Rick and Rick Rubin, what I really like, he said once, he was like, when you have a thought, what does a human being do when they have a thought they don't like or they don't want? Well, what do they do, Abby? They like think about it more and more. They try to resist it. They try to remove it. They try to do things to like get rid of it. And please hear my words. They try to do things, and as such, what happens? That resistance, it persists, it grows, it festers, and instead of the thought going away, it actually gets bigger and bigger. Right? It's like trying to fall asleep when you're really tired, and you end up really not being able to. When you're like, I'm so tired, but why can't I sleep? Like, stop trying. All right? Stop trying.
Mm-hmm.
So this is the same thing, and what Rick Rubin recommended was go on a walk, because when you walk, one part of your brain is occupied on the steps you need to take, on literally on your legs hitting the floor and walking in some direction. One part of your brain is occupied on that. So what does that mean for the other part of your brain? What does it mean, Avi? It means that part of your brain is now freed up to let whatever new thought it wants to come in. So really, when you feel stuck in a thought that is unwanted, that you don't want anymore, go take a walk and go enter a new environment. Get out of the house. Go out in nature. Allow new thought to come in. The only way new thought to come in is by not holding on to old thought. That's it. New thought comes in when you stop holding on to old thought. And that's something that Rick Rubin said. Amy Johnson said that in her book, which I love. It's another book, Just a Thought. It's called, by Amy Johnson. Everything is just a thought. And the only way to get new thought to come in is to stop holding on to old thought. So I always remember that. And yeah, thank you for asking that powerful question, man.
Yes. I really loved how you said it. Like, you have to like stop holding onto it to let new things in. It's very, very powerful. And you already talked about like 3 people or 3 books or like 3 people that inspired you throughout this journey with amazing thoughts. And how or who are some other inspiring people in your journey? Because a lot of listeners right now see you or other creators in the space, like the people we look up to. And I would really love to know who you are looking up to.
Thank you, man. Thank you for asking. The first person that came to my mind is my incredible, my gorgeous, my beautiful partner, Hannah. She inspires me every day through her bravery, through her courage, through who she's being in the world. So she is the person that I always want to impress. I always tell her this. I'm like, did that impress you? I only want to impress you. I always say to her, I only want to impress her. So when I do podcasts, when I do any YouTube, anything, I always tell her, I hope it impresses you. So she's the person that I'm always inspired by every day. My brother is a big one, man. This man, he's the most, he took from my father, and he's the most, with my father, they're the most generous people I've ever met. Like, they give with so much love, with so much passion to every single person that crosses their path. So he is my biggest inspiration, and what he's creating right now in his life is wow. And he's amazing. He's amazing. He's here. Jamie, come. He just walked in, like literally. He's gonna come. He's gonna say hi. Comes. I literally just spoke about you, and you just walked into the door as I spoke about you. And the other 2 people that inspire me, Abhi, are my parents who raised us so beautifully. It's those people. This is Jamie, everybody, the man.
Hi, man.
I can't hear.
Oh, you can't hear him.
Hey, Abhi.
Hi, Jamie.
Hey,
How
what's
are
up,
you,
man? Heard so much about you. It's nice to meet you.
That's an honor. How are you?
Sorry?
Oh, nice. You said like nice to meet you.
Yeah.
It's also nice to meet you.
I was just telling him how he asked me who inspires you. You talked about Hardest Thing, you talked about Rick Rubin, you talked about Amy Johnson, and then I said, well, Hannah, you, and our beautiful parents, they've treated us and raised us so beautifully. And this man, what he's creating at his young age, Abhi, how old are you, Abhi, if you don't mind me asking?
I'm 20.
Okay.
Just 20.
Like Jamie,
Just
it's
like me,
incredible. Abhi, you inspire me, man. You said who else inspires me? You inspire me. With everything you've done, the people that you're helping.
Thank you, man.
All you people. There's another 20-year-old I know on X. His name is Michael K. Look for him. Michael K. He inspires the fuck out of me too. All you 20-year-olds inspire me like crazy.
We already talked. So
Yeah,
he's
he's
also
amazing.
like one of my guests. And Jamie, you are maybe also one day one of
Yeah,
my
you should
guests.
definitely get Jamie on. You should
I would
Jamie
love to.
is you don't even want to know about the community Jamie's creating and what he's in helping people with. Abhi, this man, I'll let him tell you when you get him on the podcast so we don't spoil it. But yeah, I just wanted Jamie to say
Thank you
hi.
for saying that. And congrats on the podcast, Albie. I'm excited
Thank
to
you,
see where
man.
it's going to go. And it's an honor. I would love to be on there whenever the time is right. But it was beautiful to meet you, my man.
Amazing. Nice to meet you.
Much love, everybody. Much love, Albie.
Thank you, James. Thank you. I just thought it was amazing. You asked me who inspires me, and he walked in as if God asked him to walk in right at that moment. So thank you.
I noticed a lot of things. So since our call, it was also like, okay, we talked about my first client. Then 2 days later, so I don't even know if I can tell this, But one of my friends, I'm not telling the name right now, literally asked me 2 days after our call, 2 days after you mentioned that I get like my first client, she came to me and asked me, okay, I'm really struggling with distraction. Can you help me with that? This was like, okay, there has to be like a higher power. There has to be like God who gave me this amazing opportunity, who like puts all the strings now together. And since I like talk to you, since I like use your work, use you as an inspiration, things kind of make sense. And that's why I'm so grateful to have you on this podcast, to learn from
Thank
you.
you, Abi. Abi, can I say something?
Of course, man.
Who created that? Say it. Who created it? Say it.
The thing right now, I created it.
Yeah, you created it, man. Own it. It was you. I didn't do anything. It was you, man. You allowed yourself to believe in the power of possibility and that it was a possibility, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know, people love to say, how can you accept that things will happen when they are seemingly impossible? Well, you need to let them in, you need to accept the fact and be open to the idea that something else could be possible. The minute you are open to that idea, the minute you are being the person who's open to that possibility, the rest takes care by itself. Just like you just explored and just like you have shown time and time again.
Very powerful. Very, very powerful. So, Julian, the time is slowly running out, and I would love to like talk to you for even more hours, but I really thank you for this amazing conversation, and kind of let's give the listeners one last thing. So if you could say to the listener one thing in one sentence alone, what advice would you give them? As short as possible.
Well, thank you, firstly, for this time and for having me on and really showing. Oh, my camera just moved like crazy. For showing the true power of possibility and commitment and dedication. You had that idea. It was an idea in your mind to have a podcast one day, yes or no?
It was.
And then here we are, and you made it happen. So a lot of people, they might listen to this and think, oh, so anything I want, I can just create. And the short answer is yes. And to answer your question, what advice I would give is really get present to the idea that everything you've already had in your life at some point was a thought, it was an idea, and through some shape or form, whether it was your doing or not, it became a reality. So now guess and think what's going to happen if you have a little bit more of an intention and purpose behind those ideas and those thoughts. And like we said, with what you want to create, then you'll be able to create really whatever it is you want. I'm living proof of this. So is Abi. I can think of 100 other people. Michael K. When you interview Michael K, Abi, ask him what did he create, and let him tell you what he created in just 7 days. That's Diego Robinson. That's another person you should interview. Interview Diego Robinson. You can find him on X as well. He's the best online fitness coach in the world. Interview him. He's amazing. I can tell you more names. Trey Thompson. He's another one who's also, they've created shit that was in their mind before it became reality. So the best advice I can give you is, if you want to create something in your life, put it in your mind and make language your superpower, just like mine, and focus on your being. Really get present to who you're being. Who are you being in the world? And if you're not, and if who you're being is not in line with what you want to create, then take a step back, slow down, and analyze and really audit your being. Focus on your being, and then choose. Being implies choice. Being implies choice. So focus and create yourself every day. Create your being every day. That's all I have to say.
Amazing,
Thank you.
Julian, amazing. Thank you so much for this opportunity. It was an amazing episode. It was an amazing first episode. And
You're the man, Abi. You're the best. You're the best, man. I should say that Stephen Bartlett better be careful because Abi's coming to take his spot. You're the one who's going to be on that billboard holding the book I told you. And please think about it, okay? Think about what I told you.
yes,
Promise
I
me.
will
Yeah? You
think
promise.
about it. It's like one of my biggest notes up here.
Beautiful. I love it. I love the way you take notes. I love how organized you are. I love how committed and dedicated you are. Abi, a lot of people who are watching this can learn from your being.
Thank you.
Of course,
Thank you
man.
so much.
Thank you, brother. Thank you. Thank you for this opportunity to be with you tonight.
It was a pleasure. So
Much love.
I don't know how to end it. Maybe we just say
We just say
goodbye.
much love.
Much love. Much love
Much
to
love.
everyone.
Much love always.
Thank you.
Thank you.